by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
A former video gaming champion is suspected of shooting and killing 2 people at a tournament in Florida. I'm Laura Podesta. I'll have the latest on who he is and how investigators are trying to figure out his motive.
And back here in the Treasure State, wildfires across Montana mostly held in check in spite of strong winds on Saturday. What's happening and some of the fires closest to our part of the state coming up. Meantime, 6:30, Chet Lehman with you here. Missy O'Malley is off today. Matt has our forecast in a moment. Our top national story this half hour, a gunman turned a video game tournament in Florida into a scene of real-life mayhem on Sunday. When the shooting stopped, 3 people were dead, 9 others wounded. CBS's Laura Podesta is in New York with the details.
An online video appears to have captured the moment when the shooting began. It's from a live stream of the Madden NFL 19 video game tournament in Jacksonville. After the gunshots, people can be heard screaming as they realize what's happening.
Everyone running for their lives. People were being trampled. People were hiding. Everybody was screaming in fear.
When the shooting stopped, 3 people were dead, including the gunman. Police identified him as David Katz, a 24-year-old from Maryland. This video shows him at a Madden tournament in Buffalo last year. Other players said Katz was well known on the competitive gaming circuit.
He didn't speak to anybody. Even after we played, I beat him. I went to shake his hand and tell him good game, and he just looked at me. He didn't say anything.
CBS affiliate WJAX is reporting the victims have been identified as Eli Clayton and Taylor Robertson. At least one witness said Katz appeared to have been targeting specific people, though police haven't confirmed that.
So I'll not be discussing any details pertaining to the motive at this time, as that part of the investigation is still ongoing.
Federal agents were later seen at the Baltimore home of the suspect's family. There's no word on what they were searching for or if any evidence was found. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
Now, EA Sports, which runs the event, says its focus is on those affected and helping law enforcement with its investigation. The gaming giant lists Katz as the 2017 winner of that very competition. So more to follow on at 7 o'clock on CBS this morning. Right now, 6:32. Matt joins us. Lots of activity on your satellite and radar picture this morning. Lots of activity in the driveway.
Lacking exercise, and now we're getting a little exercise on the radar scope as well. You can see moisture. It does show a little snow possible in some of those high elevation areas. I don't expect it to be an impact for most of us outside of maybe seeing a pretty view possibly by the afternoon. Temperatures holding into the 40s and 50s for most of the area early on. I do expect these temperatures to stay in the 50s for the afternoon, off and on rain for that first day of school. We're going to go outside and talk about our forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
When you say we, you mean you.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I was just making sure we knew on that. 6:32 now. After growing nearly 1,000 acres this weekend, the Howe Ridge fire burning on the west side of Glacier National Park now sits at about 12,500 acres. Remains 10% contained. That fire is within 100 and 150 yards of the inside North Fork Road in places. Work to reduce fuels along the road has successfully concluded. Now on Saturday, helicopter water drops were used to slow fire movement to the south. Fire managers anticipate the road will prevent the fire from spreading farther south. On the north end of the fire, firefighters have reinforced existing trails with sprinklers to serve as fire lines as the fire backs slowly down from the rocky slopes where it is currently burning. Closer to home, Monument Fire southwest of Ennis, now 32% contained. It has burned 6,614 acres. The nearby Wigwam Fire is 4,087 acres, is now 98% contained. The 2 fires now winding down. Type 3 management team from California left on Sunday, turning over management of the fires to a local team. And fire officials say the Goldstone fire south of Jackson was held in place in spite of red flag conditions and high winds on Saturday. That fire stands at 9,337 acres, 7% contained. There are more than 300 fire personnel working on that fire. Now north of Wisdom, Beaver Creek fire operations are wrapping up. That fire, just over 2,000 acres, will see crews diverted to the Goldstone fire as soon as Tuesday. Now at Glacier National Park, fire crews using some powerful tools to help stop fire. MTN's Nicole Miller has a closer look at how these super scoopers came into play.
The scoopers are on loan from Canada through the Northwest Compact Agreement. Fire managers tell me they've been extremely resourceful in working the Howe Ridge fire.
They've been a huge asset. The lake's right there. The turnaround time from getting water out of the lake and getting to where we need them has been short. They have like a 4-hour fuel cycle, which is a long fuel cycle for any aircraft.
Each scooper has two 600-gallon tanks capable of skimming 1,200 gallons of water off a water body in 8 to 12 seconds. Pilot Brandon Robertson can release the tanks simultaneously or one at a time.
They're the first aircraft in the world designed specifically for the purpose of aerial fire suppression. And the concept behind it is basically getting gallons per hour of water to a fire. So Lake McDonald is close to the fire. We're able to get 30 or 40 drops an hour per aircraft.
Through the agreement, the scoopers stationed at Glacier Park International Airport are available as needed to fire management organization in the state. But they're most effective on fires within 25 miles of a water body. If you see the scoopers out working fires, fire managers ask to please remember drones will shut down aviation resources.
Drones are a definite growing problem in especially firefighting operations. If there's a drone spotted in the area, we have to pull off the fire and we can't do our job.
So far, drones haven't shut down operations on any fires burning in the park. In Glacier National Park, Nicole Miller, MTN News.
Fire managers say the two scoopers will be available for as long as they're needed to help battle wildfires in Montana. Shifting gears a bit, a fairly new apprentice program in Bozeman called Libertas is offering high school graduates an alternative to college. MTN's Medeiros Babb tells us what the program is about and how it started.
Libertas was born because founder Paul Durham believed that there was not an education program that students could learn hands-on.
You know, anybody who's in a career knows that once you're inside it, it's completely different than going to school for it. And there's a lot of things that people do where you don't need to go to college.
Libertas, which means freedom in Latin, was born from this idea. The year-long $8,000 program begins by teaching students life skills like communication, organization, as well as budgeting and how to create an action plan. One of the program's first students, Kaito Irizarry, says he got out what he put in to Libertas.
You know, I would say like the program is going to get you 50-60% of the way there. Like you're going to be given all the tools you need to accomplish whatever it is you want. But the real secret to that, equation is how much work are you willing to do.
After the first part of the course is finished, Durham then matches up students with mentors to learn the craft they are interested in.
You know, really anything under the sun. You know, you could be a ceramicist, you work with a musician, you could work with small high-tech manufacturing. There's, when you look around, there's many small business people who are doing very interesting things.
Local students who are enrolled in the program will study at this white chapel located right behind Saffron Table and the Roost once a week. The students that are not from Bozeman will do most of their studying online. In Bozeman, Medeiros Babb, MTN News.
Nice. 6:38 now. This week under the big sky, Wheat Montana's unique approach to farming and bread have given it a unique advantage in the marketplace. This advantage has transformed the Montana wheat farm into a competitive national brand.
Under the Big Sky is sponsored by Rocky Mountain Vein Clinic and Markovich Real Estate.
Having a farm connected to a processing facility like Wheat Montana is a real unique attribute. There aren't too many of our competitors out there that can make that claim. So when we compete with large bakeries that are located outside of Montana, or the large flour mills that are located outside of Montana, we can always tell the story that we know where the grain came from and that we're the farmers that grew most of the grain, or they were contract farmers that worked with us. It's a pretty compelling story to our customers, and it's also a huge barrier to entry for our competitors. Now farm to table is all the rage, and we like to say that we were farm to table before farm to table was cool. We've been doing it now for about the last 22 years. Well, I think agriculture and food are no different than everything else in this world. We want more transparency in everything. People are wondering, where their food comes from. They want to know their farmer. They want to know what's in their food and what's good for you and what's not. And so it's a continually evolving marketplace, and we continue to evolve our products so that we can fit the tastes and preferences of a changing consumer base out there. We don't know exactly how this company is going to evolve and what it's going to look like in 10 years, but I have a feeling that it's going to affect more people, and I have a feeling that it's going to be better for Montana.
Now you can watch the full We Montana story at underthebigsky.com. We're going to take a quick break. Here's what we're working on for right after the break.
A new chemotherapy drug is being used to treat brain cancer in dogs, which may help save humans with the same disease. I'm Mola Lengi at Virginia Tech, where doctors have high hopes for this promising new treatment.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, hear from survivors of the shooting at the Jacksonville video gaming tournament, how other competitors say the suspect was acting before he opened fire. And we'll take a look back at Senator John McCain's life and legacy. We'll talk with a close friend and longtime campaign manager, that's Rick Davis. Plus, Bob Schieffer, who interviewed McCain on Face the Nation a record number of times. He was on there a lot. We'll see you 7 o'clock on the dot.